What's up, everybody? Crypto Sloth here, and I'm going to show you how you can make some passive income with your crypto in the Pulsechain ecosystem. And the specific opportunity that I'm talking about that is now available to us through protocols, specifically the Fiat Aave fork on Pulsechain, is called Yield Arbitrage. So what is it? What is yield arbitrage? Well, quite simply, it is when you take advantage of low borrowing APRs or APYs, take the liquidity that you got from that loan and put it into a yield generating opportunity with an APR that's higher than the interest rate that you're paying that loan off of. So you have a yield arbitrage opportunity if the APR of your loan is less than the APR of your yield, because you're earning more in that yielding opportunity than you are generating debt via the loan that you took out. So specifically, the fiat.io protocol is an Aave fork, which is a protocol that allows you to deposit crypto, and then that crypto that's deposited is lended out to people who collateralize their crypto. And so with the loans that you now have some liquidity based on your crypto that you collateralize that you can take to, say, in a liquidity pool, and then you can arbitrage the yield from the income you're earning from that liquidity pool relative to the APR or the APY of the loan that you've taken out on fiat. So let's go through specifically how those would work. Let's say we start with $10,000. We deposit that into the fiat.io protocol, and now we have $10,000 of collateral that we can borrow on. And let's say that we want to borrow $1,000, which is a 10% LTV loan. This is a pretty safe amount to borrow because your liquidation risk is very, very low. The price of your collateral would have to go really far down, or the price of your asset that you borrowed have to go really high up for you to get liquidated and use your collateral. So this is a safe amount of money to borrow with $10,000. And say that loan that you took out, you're owing 5% APR or maybe 5% APY. So you're after a year, you're going to owe 5% more than the $1,000 that you put in, which is about $50. So in a year, you're going to owe 1,500 versus the 1,000 you owe the second you take out your loan. Well, let's take that $1,000 and let's swap it for some LP tokens in a farm that is earning 50%. Now, that's a difference of 45% of profit for you. So in this case, we're saying we're swapping the LP tokens because maybe the token you took out, you need another token to provide liquidity with. That's what liquidity providing is. If you want more information on that, I have a lot of resources on my channel and my website, cryptosloth.info, right there. But say you found opportunity to yield farm with a high APR, in this case 50%. Well, that's higher than 5%. So now you can use that interest to pay the loan off. So you're earning 50% APR, you're earning, say, fees, and let's say this one has a incentive token attached to it. So you're earning an emission of a certain token that you can sell to pay off your loan. Now, over time, as you make payments for every time you get emissions, eventually your loan is going to be paid off because the yield that you're earning is higher than the accrued interest on the debt position that you have. So eventually, once that loan is paid off, you're going to have LP tokens sitting in that pool, earning you interest and no debt in the future. So if you really wanted to, you can do this again. Take out another $1,000, put it into the LP pool. Now, instead of yielding on $1,000 at a 5% interest rate, you're earning instead of $1,000 that you owe 5% on over time, and you're earning 50% in the LP pool. Now you're earning $2,000. So the rate at which you pay off that $1,000 loan increases. It basically doubles. And so you can continue to iterate this over and over and over, assuming the opportunity is present and assuming you don't get liquidated. And then eventually you're going to be sitting on these pool of LP tokens that you got, I don't want to say for free, because you're taking on risk by taking out the debt to accumulate this position, but you're getting it without having to sell your initial capital that you put in. Normally, say you deposited Pulse and you borrowed Pulse X. Normally, if you wanted to say liquidity provided with Pulse X, you'd have to sell some of your Pulse in order to get that Pulse X and deposit it in the pool. Well, in this scenario, if you deposited your Pulse, got Pulse X, you could sell half of that into Pulse, and now you keep all of that original Pulse exposed to market volatility. And if it were in a bull market or in an uptrend, you're getting appreciation on your assets and you're earning interest on the side instead of just getting the market volatility. So let's take a look at an example that exists right now at the time of recording. This first box is from fiat.io, and this is the rate that you would pay, the borrow APR rate, if you were to borrow Pulsex from anything you're collateralizing. So you have Pulsex, and you say, let's say you deposit Pulse in there, and then you borrow Pulsex. Well, because this is APY, after 1 year, you're going to owe 4.21% more Pulse X than you put in. Well, if we go over to PHUX, which is a balancer fork from the exact same team, they have this pool called the PLS single-sided staking pool, almost. And it's almost because 90% of it is composed by PLSX, and then 5% in this other LP token, PRIFUX, and then 5% in stables. But if you look, that APR right here is 16%. So that is a 12% difference of profit that you can make by collateralizing your Pulse, borrowing PulseX, and depositing that PulseX into this liquidity pool. So let's take a look at how that would look with the flow chart that we just outlined. So you deposit $10,000 of Pulse collateral, and you borrow $1,000 worth of PulseX, and then you're paying this 4.79% on that $1,000. So at the end of a year, you would owe basically $47 if everything stayed the same. One important note is that and if we go back, you can see this, it says borrow APR variable. So this can go up and this can go down. So if your rate goes up over time, and the APR of the PHUX pool stays the same, your profit margins are going to decrease. But we have $1,000 worth of PLSX, and we put that into our PHUX farm, which is earning 16%. So we're earning 16% APR. And in this case, we are earning an incentive token. That's the PHUX token. So in order to pay the loan off, we need to sell it into PulseX, because on fiat, the way you pay off your loan is the same token that you took the debt out in. So say PulseX goes up 10x and then goes down 50%, then goes up 10x, then goes down 50% over and over, and then goes down 90%, right? Well, the number of PulseXs that you owe is going to stay the same, even though the dollar value is fluctuating. And so it's going to be important to get that PHUX into PulseX so that you are able to pay off that loan independent of market volatility. You continue to pay it off, and once it's paid off, you can iterate over again. Now, the cool thing about this is you don't have to do it in this exact linear way where you pay off every iteration, especially for this one. You say you take your PHUX, you sell it into PLSX, then you could put that back into the farm and compound your yield over time. And eventually you can pay off your loan whenever you feel comfortable doing so. The important thing to note about fiat loans is that there is no time payment. So like you don't have to make monthly payments on it. The interest just accrues, I don't know, every second, every minute, every hour, something like that. So the only thing you have to worry about is liquidation risk with your health factor going too low. So as your interest is accruing, your health factor is going down because the amount of debt you have relative to your collateral is going up. But that's why we take out a 10% LTV loan, so that you have a 90% margin before liquidation. So the interest you're accruing isn't really affecting your risk of liquidation as much. So you can continuously compound this if you want to. Another option, like I said before, is to pay off the loan ASAP, borrow another $1,000, throw it into the pool, and then keep compounding that over time. Now, this specific opportunity works because the APR loan is about 4%. The yield you're earning is about 16%. So that's a 12% net of profit that you can use to pay off the loan, or even cash out if you want. You want to take the 5% of that, put it in your pocket, put it into something else. That's perfectly fine too. You could even take that, and instead of paying your loan off, you can add it to your collateral. So sell the FUX, add it to PLS, buy Pulsechain, and then put that back into collateral so that you increase the amount that you're borrowing, or you're decreasing the risk of liquidation. Some important things to note is that both APRs are variable. So this 4.79 APR right here, that can go up or go down. And then this APR in the FUX pool can also go up and down. And that's dependent on two things: the price of the PHUX token. So if that price goes down, your APR is going down. But also the governance protocol of the PHUX DEX. If less votes go into incentivizing this pool, the APR is going to go down because you're earning less PHUX tokens with every iteration of emissions. So keep that in mind. When you do these opportunities, you need to pay close attention to your position and all of the different rates the rates of your loans, the volatility of the asset that you're earning as incentive, and the APR of the pool that you're getting in, because this arbitrage opportunity can close at any given time. And so if you're not being profitable anymore, you want to make sure you exit your position and cash out on your loan, so you're not just accruing debt for no reason. Now, I actually really like this pool, and I'll go back up to this slide, because typically with this kind of strategy, your risk is of impermanent loss. And what that essentially means is, say instead of this specific pool, we're providing liquidity with PulseX and USDC. Well, we owe in PulseX, but if the PulseX token goes up in value, you're going to end up with less PLSX tokens and more USDC. And not only that, but the amount of debt you owe in dollar value is going up because PLSX is going up in value. And if you remember, we're paying our debt off in PLSX. So you're getting more stable coins, less of the coin that you need to pay your loan off, and the value of your debt is going up. That's a big risk in a situation like this where you're trying to capitalize on yield arbitrage. However, in this specific pool, 90% of its composition is in PLSX and only 10% is in other tokens. So your impermanent loss is greatly limited in that if the PLSX token goes up, you still hold a large number of the PLSX token to be able to take out at any given time and pay your loan off. And that's really powerful if you wanted to say, instead of paying your loan off, just taking the PHUX, putting it into PulseX, and then putting it back into the farm. Because now you know that at least 90% of the coins that I have, more or less 90% of the value, no matter what happens as the price goes up and down, is going to be in that token you need to pay the loan off. So this is a really unique yield arbitrage opportunity where the risk is actually lower than, say, if you borrowed stable coins, swapped them into tokens, and then yield farmed in those tokens. Yeah, so let's go over some quick pros and cons for the last little bit of this video. The biggest pro is asset exposure with yield. So you have your PLS, your Pulsechain, sitting on the side exposed to market volatility. So if we're in an uptrend, not only are you earning this 12% spread in profit, but also your collateral is going up too. So you're still getting that price appreciation that you would if you just held your token liquid. And that brings me into the next point, is that your assets are more productive. So you're getting that price appreciation and you're getting extra yield on top of it because you've unlocked liquidity via a collateralized loan. Now, of course, there are cons. Liquidation risk. If the price of Pulsechain goes down or the price of PulseX goes up relative to Pulsechain, you can be liquidated and lose your Pulsechain that you put up for collateral. So keep that in mind, especially as you go down the risk curve of yielding opportunities that you're using collateral to gain the liquidity to take advantage of. And then also this arbitrage opportunity can close. So you need to pay attention over time. This is not a set it and forget it strategy. I'd say at least minimum once a week, you need to be making sure that the numbers are making sense for you to keep this position open. But as long as it stays open, you're in the clear. And as long as you're paying off, making payments over time, you're in the clear too. But that is it for this video in yield arbitrage. If you are interested in learning more about this, I just released a article on my blog at cryptosloth.info where I go over everything I talked about today in even more depth. And so if you're a reader and you like to read about things, go to cryptosloth.info, sign up for the newsletter so you can get updates like this directly into your inbox, and take a look at this article. Read it and try to find your own opportunities. I outlined one specific one here, but the amount of opportunities are completely endless because you can change the collateral that you have, the loan that you take out, and the kind of yielding opportunity you have. You don't have to stick with, say, ROH products. Say a new DEX opens up with some 1,000% APR. Well, maybe you want to do this instead of risking your Pulsechain by selling it and then getting into it. Maybe you take this opportunity instead to take advantage of those crazy high APRs and pay off your loan really, really fast. But I hope this concept was valuable to you guys. It's definitely something I'm going to be keeping track of in the ecosystem over time because we have these collateralization options on Pulsechain right now. And with gas fees so low, you can do this with $100. You can even do it with $50 if you really wanted to, just to play with it. You don't have to put in your whole net worth when you do something like this. And I definitely wouldn't recommend that. So yeah, cryptosloth.info for the article, sign up, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, in my next stream, my next video, whatever it might be. Thank you for watching, and peace out.